Hello, my friend, and good morning, perhaps it's the right word. I just spent the night in a Saharan desert camp, I guess you could say. One of those for tourists, but it was really sweet. And waking up in this landscape, like almost like a moon landscape. And I've never been in this part of the world before, and definitely not in Sahara. And I wanted to just share a reflection on feeling like we belong, like feeling at home in a place where we've never been before. Because I have a conditioning of like not feeling like I belong. Like if I go into a new, well, like this, or like this perhaps, you can see the camp down there. And they're local people and I don't speak their language and I've never been to this particular environment before. And then I easily feel a bit out of place, like I don't belong or like it's not my home. And it's easy, or I spent many decades thinking that I need someone else to give me permission to feel at home. As though someone else has to grant me the right to be here, has to grant me the right to feel at home, to feel like I'm welcomed by this environment or this space. But actually, that's not true. Yes, on a social level, in order for me to be part of their camp or community, then yes, I need to be invited. But to feel in my body like I belong, like this is my space, I am welcomed in this environment or this part of the world, that's an inside job. I can grant that to myself. And there's one way to say that, like, wherever I go, here I am. But truly, if I make the here and now my actual home, then I never leave home. I'm always home. And that's not just a thought, that's actually like a lived bodily sensation, or we can make it that. Or we can rather see that that's what it is. To always feel at home. Isn't that what all of us humans really long for? And we're already there. Yeah. And how do we make that happen? Well, I don't know, to tell you the truth, but I can share how it is for me. So to feel at home for me, what I have to do is almost like I have to give my mind the access, or the mind remembers that I know, I have felt deeply in my bones that we're all one consciousness, that I am not a body and the other person is not a body. We're localizations of the same space, you can say. And experiences come and go within that space. So it's not that I have traveled to Sahara, it's rather like the experience of Sahara has traveled in to my field of awareness. And once the mind is on board with that, it says like, oh yeah, I remember, that's what we did. No, the mind doesn't have to agree, but for me this is usually the process, because my mind is still the default mechanism that I navigate the world, even though it becomes less and less so. And then I can almost feel like my boundaries, not my boundaries as a person, but my boundaries of my body doesn't need protecting itself from Sahara or from the people working in the camp, or the people driving the jeeps, or people walking by the street. They are experiences that has entered my field of awareness, or rather their field of awareness is interacting with my field of awareness if it's with people. So actually, I would say that our natural state is belonging. We just have to stop making up ideas that we don't belong. And if you're curious about that, I have a whole episode on the belonging, but this one was just a reflection of how much it impacts our everyday life, or Not that my everyday life is in Sahara, but when we move in the world, this has impact. If we believe that our consciousness arises out of the brain, that matter is somehow the mother or the one who gives birth to consciousness, then the way I relate to the world becomes very different. But if I see, or if I explore and discover that consciousness is the primary thing, matter arises within consciousness, then the way I move in the world can be much freer. My body doesn't need to protect itself because actually it isn't in a foreign environment. It's just that the experience that is offered to me right now is different than the ones that are offered to me back home. But the space in which the experiences arises, it is always the same. It is me. Yeah. What is your relationship with this? Have you come to the same conclusions I have? And what is it like for you to actually live it? How does it show up in your life? What are your challenges and how do you overcome them? Please do share in the comment section. I'd love to hear about it. That's how I get inspiration to share some more and to connect and to, feel at one with the world and with you. Yeah. And also, if you're new to my channel, maybe I should introduce myself. My name is Josephine, and this is a channel for mutual exploration, just being, sharing our experiences, trying to figure out what this thing called life is all about. And if you are a regular viewer, I'm glad to share this experience in Sahara with you. I hope to see you next time.